Nothing to Say, the Fans Podcast, episode 110 of this podcast, which is absolutely outrageous. When we kind of sat back and thought about it, it was like, wow, okay, we're at 110. It felt like we just got to 100.
And it's still shit.
Okay. Yeah, so again, thank you guys. I mean, we say it all the time, but thank you guys so much for watching these episodes and listening to the podcast. We really do appreciate it. And we always said from the beginning, it never really mattered to us how big the show got per se, but as long as the people who were watching it were enjoying it, that's really what we cared about. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. We got a new segment for you, something that we're going to try to make a weekly thing, something just to have a little more fun and kind of break up. It'll be sports related, but we'll also make it non-sports related. So for the people who don't love sports, there'll be something for you there as well. So before we get into it, Sam, you had a pretty good weekend, with or at least good end to your weekend.
Pretty good Monday, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, with the Niners beating the Rams.
It was like when the Raiders beat Baltimore. I think you came on and said that you were screaming and your neighbors probably hated you. It was a little bit like that. My girlfriend was out of the apartment, and it was just me watching the Niners just bend Matthew Stafford over, who is Von Miller was added and OBJ. It didn't matter because the Niners and Kyle Shanahan just own the Rams. Who's the owner of the Rams? It's you know what? It doesn't even matter because Kyle Shanahan is the daddy of the LA Rams. They should name it not SoFi Stadium, Shanahan's Playhouse.
Right. We'll just title the episode Shanahan's Playhouse.
It's Sean McVay's House of Horrors. If you're Sean McVay, because Sean McVay's got to be a pretty confident dude. I mean, he's one of the best coaches in the NFL, easily top 10.
Oh yeah.
And he's now 6 and Sean McVay is 3-6 against Kyle Shanahan. Doesn't matter if the Rams are going to the playoffs and the Niners just stink. It doesn't matter. Kyle has had his number. Like, what do you even think about that?
And it's kind of like the whole New Orleans Saints and Tom Brady playing for Tampa situation. Yeah. I mean, the Saints they own Brady. If the Saints find a way into the playoffs and they beat Tampa, that's going to be really interesting because the Saints have just absolutely pummeled Tom Brady and the Buccaneers as of recent, or since he's gotten there, really. So,
and I'd love to. So it was a big time on the podcast or the broadcast. They mentioned a couple times like the Niners sideline and their team just felt, this week just felt different, like heading into it. How do you tap into that to make it so every week feels just a little bit different? Like you just have that little bit more edge. Do you print a picture of Sean McVay and some of the Rams and just paste them on your practice players' helmets?
Right.
Do you do that? Like Matthew Stafford on Trey Lance's helmet when he's on the practice squad? Like, what do you do? I don't know how you do it because it's just, from what we saw, the Niners just get embarrassed against Arizona to just flip and beat just totally dominate one of the best teams in the NFL. There's no rhyme or reason that explains any of that.
Well, the thing is, I mean, and that's been a theme this year in the NFL. Yeah. And that was a big talking point on Get Up earlier in the week. I was listening to them when I was at work. It was the Monday show. That was one of the points that they were making. And even on Greeny's show afterward, a big point of emphasis was the amount of legit, basically the point was there's no team that just looks completely unbeatable right now. And there are teams that look really, really good. I mean, Dallas is one of those teams. They look really, really good. Green Bay looks really, really good. But every team has a flaw that doesn't make them look like complete world beaters, which I think is a great thing for the NFL. I mean, right now in the AFC, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 12 teams with 5 wins or more. I mean, that's great for the league because just so much stuff, there's so much disparity. And so many different things. Like I feel like each week you can look at a lot more matchups and go, well, this could be a good game because every team is sort of middle of the pack, maybe, or has something that another team could expose. So, yeah, it's really been a really interesting season in that sense.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to pause it right here.
Why?
I'm fighting back a sneeze.
Let it go. Look at the light. Do you do that?
Dude,
Do
I'm
you look at the
trying.
light?
I'm trying. Oh, okay. We're back.
Are you sure?
It went away. Yeah, it went away. All right.
So I think we can just segue right into just talking about what happened really quickly this weekend. But I don't know about you. When I was picking a game to watch in that 10 o'clock slate, I gravitated towards Detroit, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Maybe because we differed on that game, but those were two awful teams. And that was a close, I mean, it was going back and forth. And it really looked like Detroit was going to finally get that win. And part of me was like, wow, this is actually kind of exciting. And these two teams are awful with a Mason Rudolph-led Pittsburgh Steelers team.
I really want the Lions to get their first win. It is ridiculous. Dan Campbell is trying everything he can to get a win. You can tell how much he cares. The team is playing so hard for him. They're just not good. Like they don't have like a lot of talent outside of like DeAndre Swift, really, is probably their most talented player.
Yeah, and Penei still actually looks really good though.
He does. Yeah, he actually does look really good. I enjoyed watching the Tennessee game. Tennessee versus the Saints versus New Orleans. That was a good game. And actually, you know what? Let's just roll right into the scores of what happened this past week. So we had the Dolphins beat the Ravens on Thursday Night Football, which
doesn't make any sense.
No, again, another one of those games this season where you're just like, it's unexplainable. So 20.
I don't know how.
Literally, like I was trying to find a word.
I know.
It was 22-10. Dolphins beat the Ravens. The Titans continue to roll. They beat the Saints 23-21. The Bills look like they're back to form a little bit, although it was against the Jets and Mike White, the short-lived king of New York, 45-17. The Lions and the Steelers tied 16-16. So there's your first tie in the NFL. The Colts have slowly come back. They're 5-5 right now in the AFC. And if you're a team who's playing the Colts, it would do you no good to overlook the Colts right now. 23-17 over the Jaguars. Washington. If Taylor Heineke played the Buccaneers every game, I mean that guy. That guy would go to the Hall of Fame. He
did it in the playoffs last year, and now he's done it again.
Where is the? So I have the stat on their final drive. Did you? I didn't actually catch their final drive live, but their final drive was something that was the best drive of the NFL season so far by any team.
Washington.
It was 19 plays, 80 yards, and it was 10 minutes and 26 seconds. It ate up the rest of the quarter. They never gave the ball back to.
Wait, in the fourth quarter, they never.
In the fourth quarter, they never gave it back to Brady, and they scored a touchdown at the end of the drive to steal it.
Well, you saw the Niners' first drive of the game after they picked off Stafford. They went 91 yards or something like that, 18 plays, and chewed up 11 minutes.
Yeah, so it was just so imagine doing that, but at the end of the game to seal it. So so it's just like
it's a different type of clutch.
Yeah. So they ended up winning 29-19. Patriots made a huge statement against the Browns, 45-7. The Patriots are rolling. So are the Cowboys. They got back to form 43-3 over the Falcons. Cam Newton in his debut against the Cardinals scored 2 touchdowns. He was only in for 4 plays.
Wait, do the Cam Newton.
I'd have to make my voice really high in the video. I'm back.
I'm back.
Dude, I don't know what that is. Not what Cam Newton sounds like. I don't know what.
It had to have been a voice he was putting on. I wish that game was in Carolina though, and he said that to the Carolina crowd.
Yeah.
Is there? Can you look ahead? Is there next week's game in Carolina where he's starting?
They are in. Yeah, they play Carolina. They are at home in Carolina, and they play Washington.
What I would give to just sit in for that pregame when they announce Cam Newton to just let him run onto the field all alone. Give him a promo video of what he did in his long career in Carolina. And I just love to see that excitement for a Carolina team that hasn't had a lot to cheer for in a couple of years since pretty much Cam Newton's been gone.
Since him, yeah. To close out the scores for the week, the Chargers lose to the Vikings 27-20. The Packers beat the Seahawks 17-0. It was an ugly game. The Eagles have been quietly putting together some good games over the past couple weeks. They beat Denver 30-13. Their offense has been one of the most efficient offenses in the league for the past couple games. Looks like their run game has come alive. And Jalen Hurts, if he keeps playing like this, they're not going to have a quarterback question in Philly because it looks like he's meshing well now with Nick Sirianni. So we don't have to talk about the Sunday night game. And then the 49ers beat the Rams 31-10. So
who saw it coming? Who saw it coming, Jason?
So with all of that, we will look ahead to, well, not look ahead really. We're going to do our power rankings at the beginning of the show. After reading all those scores, we have all that turnover with just the craziness that happened this past week. So I will read ESPN's power ranking. So a couple weeks ago, we did Sam and I versus each other. Then we also did a power rankings that was so similar to ESPN's. It was one team, so it didn't make any sense to compare them. Yeah. Now our lists are quite a bit different. So ESPN going from 10-1. Their 10th team in their power rankings is the Patriots. Then it goes Ravens, Chiefs, Tampa, Bills. Then rounding out their top 5 is the Rams at 5, Dallas at 4, Arizona at 3, Titans at 2, and the Packers at 1. So that is ESPN's power ranking. Sam's got ours.
Yeah, Sam has ours. Just give Sam a second. You just put me on the spot like this.
Well, I thought you would. I don't think it's unfair of me to assume you came prepared, but obviously I was wrong. So
I just wanted to build up the suspense, Jason.
Right.
So for our list here, see, just quite a bit different here. We have at 10, we have the Baltimore Ravens. 9, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's the first time we've ever put Kansas City in our power rankings. Hasn't been a whole lot this year. 8, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 7, we have the Los Angeles Rams. 6, we have the Buffalo Bills. 5, we have the New England Patriots. Start of a new dynasty here in after week 10. 4, we have Dallas Cowboys. 3, we have the Arizona Cardinals. 2, we have Tennessee Titans, and 1, we have that team in Green Bay with that man, Aaron Rodgers.
So 7 through 10 for us in ESPN are different, but they're not all that different. Like the Ravens is off by 1, Tampa is off by 1, the Rams is a little bit farther. They have the Rams at 5, we have them at 7. The biggest difference between our list and theirs is the Patriots. But here's the thing. So
what's the thing?
So here's a reason, a couple reasons why we decided to put the Patriots at 5. So ESPN right now, they have the Bills at 6. So the Patriots and the Bills actually have the same amount of wins. They both have 6 wins. Now, if you go back and you look at who the Bills have played so far, they have lost to the Steelers. They had a horrible loss to Jacksonville. That was really, I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't even think Jacksonville saw that coming. So
Urban Meyer woke up that day. Yeah, we're going to get smoked today. I don't even know why we're showing up.
And then they lost to the Titans. So that was, I guess, a quote-unquote good loss for them. The Patriots, all of their losses this season have been against pretty good teams. So they lost in overtime to Dallas. They lost to Tampa, right? If you guys remember, that was Brady's return. They lost to the Saints, and then they had one bad loss against the Dolphins. But so far, I mean, they have beaten the Chargers. They destroyed the Browns. They put up 24 points against a top 10 defense in Carolina. They have been playing really well. Their point differential this season, they have a plus 100-point differential this season. Their defense, their last 4 games, their defense right now has given up 13 points, 24 to a good Chargers offense, 6 to the Panthers, and 7 to the Browns. Mac Jones has come on as maybe one of the best rookies in the league, regardless of position. He has been playing really well. If you look back at Tom Brady's numbers in his second year, he's well above where Brady was in just, I guess, in everything, really, in completion percentage and touchdowns and interceptions. So don't get it twisted. Nobody's saying that nobody's saying Mac Jones is going to become Tom Brady or anything like that. But the interesting thing is that with worse numbers, Tom Brady in his second year, they went to the Super Bowl and they won the Super Bowl.
Completely different situation. I mean, that team.
Oh, for sure.
Made the playoffs the year before. They had stout defense, yada, 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 yada. I mean, and it's completely different NFL now. Like, quarterbacks can put up numbers. And I think it's safe to say that Mac Jones is a more developed quarterback.
He's farther
in his rookie year than what Tom was, because Tom was splitting time in Michigan. And Mac Jones started a year. He had multiple years under Tua and Jalen Hurts in the best program in the country at Alabama, learning that tutelage and everything. So I think it's not a stretch to say that Mac Jones may be a better quarterback right now than where Tom was, just purely based off of skill. You can't judge intangibles, but I think just to simply say, like, based off of the numbers, you can't really compare the numbers between those two because the NFL is completely different.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, and the ending point to that was going to be that there's some similarities between that team and this team that are really interesting to kind of look at in that sense, because they both had a really good defense. They both had a young and up and coming quarterback. Bill's still there. Their defense is great, which I already said.
Bill is the common denominator.
Bill still's there.
The ageless wonder, Bill Belichick.
But right now, there's no reason to think, or at least we think, there's no definitive reason right now that the Patriots couldn't beat the Bills. In fact, if they played each other, that would be a really, really interesting game, because you have kind of similar teams in the sense that you have the Patriots, who, again, we talked about their defense, but their offense over the past couple of games has put up 54 points, 27, 24, 45. Their offense has been playing really, really well. They've actually, you think about the high-powered offense of Buffalo. Buffalo has scored 280 points this season. The Patriots have scored 275. Their offense has been just as efficient as the Bills. Mm-hmm. So, and then you have two teams who have very strong defenses. So they're really similar in that sense. So it'll be really interesting to see once they actually do meet. It's crazy that we've gotten to what's going to be week 11 and they still haven't played each other yet. It's going to make for a very fun end of the season. So, but with the way that the Patriots have been playing, their momentum, we just felt that they deserved to be in that 5th spot. They're playing as good as anybody in the league right now.
And because I think that's a common thing for lists when they're created. It's like, if these teams were to play today, the 5 team would beat the 6 team. I don't think that's how we construct our list.
No.
I mean, it comes down to New England's had more impressive wins and comparable losses. Actually better losses to Buffalo. Buffalo may be projected as a better team, may have the potential to be a better team. It's just New England so far has shown to be the better. This conversation, I totally forgot we were even doing power ranking at this point. But just comparing, like, looking down the road for Patriots v Buffalo, Josh Allen in the regular season is 2-3 against the Patriots. I didn't even realize that. I thought he would have maybe be 4-1 against the Patriots. Right. But it seems like Bill Belichick is actually able to really sort of give Josh Allen fits in this division. And you think about last year when New England got swept, if they had a quarterback like Mac Jones who wasn't turning the ball over, they maybe could have come away with, because both those games were 1-possession games last year, for a bad New England team.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing about Bill Belichick and the Patriots defense, right? They take away your best thing and they make you play left-handed, really, in that sense. So when they go up against the Bills, obviously Josh Allen is their main weapon. So they're going to do everything they can to say, okay, we're going to make you work twice as hard, and everybody else around you is going to have to pick up the slack. And either he's going to be able to do it or he's not.
And he hasn't shown really that he can do it. Like his numbers are down.
Yeah, they're not great against
Bill, which, I mean, whose numbers are better against Bill?
Right. Well, I mean, just take the Browns. You know, you look at Browns as being one of the most prolific rushing offensive teams in the league. They only had 99 total net rushing yards when they played the Patriots. Granted, Nick Chubb was out. I get it. But, I mean, Dearness Johnson had 19 carries for 99 yards. He's a good running back. We've seen that already. But, I mean, the Browns want to get 150, 200 rushing yards a game. So it's one of those things where you have to look at both sides of the coins because Nick Chubb wasn't there, but they're still the Browns and they still go through their running game and they completely took it away. And
I mean, their offense was completely stagnant.
Yeah. So, and then as far as the the back half of the list, I mean, again, most of the slots are just mixed by one. So, I mean, they have Tampa one slot higher than we do. We have the Chiefs one slot lower than they do. So the biggest gripe that I have with ESPN's list is the fact that they have the Chiefs over the Patriots. I don't understand that at all, because until the game against the Raiders, they didn't look like themselves at all as of recent.
I don't know what you look at as the worst loss for the Chiefs, because they've only lost to playoff teams.
So let's go back.
They've lost to the Ravens. They've lost to the Bills. They lost to the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And
then where's the other one?
Chargers. Chargers.
Yes.
So they've only lost to teams that theoretically should all be in the top 10. I know we don't have the Chargers, but they lost all the playoff teams so far. So I don't really think I think it's just kind of maybe that Miami loss where New England just look totally different now than what they did back then.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's the deciding factor.
Maybe. And maybe it's the fact that they're the Chiefs and they give them credit in the sense that it's still Mahomes, it's still Kelsey, it's still Andy Reid, it's still
Didn't this game though for Kansas City it's sort of like the Niners almost, like was total just wiped the slate totally clean. And it's like, okay, now this is the team that we were really expecting to look for this season.
Well,
that's
yeah,
what I kind of see with Kansas City.
Yeah, so let's get into this because we were going to talk about the Raiders and we were going to talk about the 49ers. So we can talk about this game real quick. If you guys have been listening to sports talk radio or like just anything over the past couple of weeks about the Kansas City Chiefs, the big talking point for the Chiefs was the Chiefs aren't good enough to support Patrick Mahomes doing the craziness that he normally has done and the things that people fell in love with. Mm-hmm. And they're just not a good enough team around him to support that. So what teams have been doing is that they've been playing cover two, kind of leaving their safeties back and trying to eliminate the big plays. And the problem with Kansas City was the fact that Patrick Mahomes was still trying to force those big plays. He was still trying to be the old Kansas City when teams were begging them to run, begging them to take the checkdowns, and he just wasn't doing it. So this game, they come out against the Raiders, and they started the game with, I think, 3 straight runs. It was either 2 straight runs or 3. And I looked at my dad and I went, that's not good. because first of all, the Raiders are terrible against the run. So I was like, they've been either watching film, which they should have been, obviously.
Or they heard at some
or they've heard the noise. So they come out, and then Patrick Mahomes in the first quarter and second quarter, I'm watching him and I'm going, he is doing nothing that he has been doing in the past couple of weeks. He's not throwing it downfield. He's taking the checkdowns. They're running the ball. He's just throwing it 5, 6, 7, 10 yards. It's no big giant plays, and they're just moving the ball. They're just playing efficiently. it was like Alex Smith was playing quarterback for them again. It was just taking what the defense was giving them. And I was like, this is not good. I was like, the Raiders have a competent secondary and a good front line. And if he had been acting like the old Patrick Mahomes, the old Patrick Mahomes of this season and trying to make those plays, then I think the Raiders could have forced a couple turnovers. But the fact that he was, taking his 3-step drops, and as soon as his back foot hit the dirt throwing, I was like, this is horrible for the Raiders. So after the first half, I was like, we are going to lose this game. Like, there's no way they're going to win. If they keep playing like this and Mahomes has kind of figured it out, they're going to get obliterated. And on the Raiders side of the ball, I mean, I don't even know what to say.
One too many off-field distractions.
Here's the thing, and because we don't actually know what's going on in that locker room. We don't know if the Gruden thing has gotten to them a lot, and I'm gonna assume that the Henry Ruggs thing probably got to more people than the Gruden thing did.
And what was the corner?
Oh yeah, Damian Arnett. Yeah, Arnett too. With that whole thing. So we have no idea if that has gotten to them. And based on the way that they started the season versus where they are now, the only changes of the team have been those 3 events. And since those 3 events, they've just looked completely off. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, because at the end of the day, you still have to go out and you still have to play, and you'd hope that they'd be able to put that behind them for the football game at least. But maybe they can't. Like, legit, maybe they can't. Maybe it is too much, and the team is just – they don't know how to – I mean, their offense is completely different now that Ruggs is gone. So, and that –
Deshaun Jackson gets that big catch and then immediately fumbles. That's tough.
He started running to the sideline. I don't know what he was doing. I'm not going to crucify Deshaun for that. It was one play. Everybody has one bad play. It just was unfortunate that it came at that moment. But maybe it is too much for the team to handle. I mean,
at least this week, you can't say anything about the future. I mean, maybe just this week it was just. Yeah. Holy cow, guys, we just can't get over this at this point.
Who knows? Their season to me is going to hinge on this game against Cincinnati. They really need to win this game because after that they go into Dallas on Thanksgiving. That's going to be a brutal game. The rest of their season, I think, of their 8 games remaining, I think 6 of them are against AFC teams. So that might help them a little bit in terms of getting tiebreakers, but that's only if they win those games, So they have to. I don't know if 9 wins is going to get you into the playoffs in the AFC because I think everybody's going to have around 9 wins. So they're going to need to win. They're going to need to win 5 or 6 of their games, I think, to get in, and that's just going to be rough. So it was a rough day for Raider Nation.
I'm sorry, man.
It's all right. The thing that stinks for me the most, and this will be the last thing I say about it, is my fandom of the Raiders was obviously passed down to me from my dad. And growing up, I was watching games with my dad all the time. Every game was with my dad and with my mom. And I say my dad, my mom's a Raider fan too, but she adopted it from my dad as well. So I was actually at my parents' house this weekend to watch the game, and I was watching it with them. And, I'm watching my dad get super excited when stuff is happening, and then it deflating him when they're bad. And it actually I want them to be good, but I almost want them to be good for him more than me, because it's watching him get super excited. It's so fun. I know I'm enjoying it, but watching right. Watching your parent where your fandom came from, just get so excited. It's so important to them, and they're letting him and me and everybody. It sucks. It really sucks.
It's so sad.
It sucks. It really does, because the beginning of the season was coming along so well. And then to get everybody's kind of hopes a little bit high, and then just to have all this happen, it's really deflating.
So are they done? Are you calling it?
They're not done yet.
What percentage? What percentage do you give them making the playoffs?
35.
That's not bad. 35
because they have winnable games. I mean, like they can beat the Chargers. I think.
Yeah.
They
Chargers
can beat Washington. They can beat Denver. Especially because they're playing at home. They can beat the Browns, I think. I don't know what the Browns are, but if the Browns are still kind of hobbling along, then I think they can get them.
What week is that?
That's week. That's their what? So this would be week 7. Oh no, it'd be 18 is how the weeks are now. So that would be 18, 17, 16. It'll be week 15.
So Baker may be healthy. I don't know if they came out with Baker's injury from this weekend.
I mean, I think they can. I think they got a shot against the Bengals. The Bengals have been struggling a little bit. And then they have the Colts and the Chiefs, and they won an Arrowhead last year. I mean, all of these games right now, because of the way that the Raiders have played this season, I look at it and I go, if they play how they started, they could win these games. But
big time.
But man, just you got to hope that they can recapture some of their early season magic, because if they don't, then it's going to be a long off season for them.
How do they do it, man? Because they do just look completely different.
Yeah, and the big thing about them was all the controversy. So I don't know. Maybe it is getting to them. I don't know, but we can move off of the Raiders for a second and talk about something more positive, and that's your 49ers, who actually have a path to the playoffs.
From the depths.
Legitimately, it's in front of them. I mean, which is still left on their schedule. They have the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna read their schedule. You tell me what their wins are, right? Mm-hmm. So they're in Jacksonville.
I think that has to be a win. If they lose that game, fire Kyle Shanahan for all I care. If they lose against Jacksonville, All
right, so then they're home against the Vikings.
I think that has to be a win. I think that game's going to be tight, but and who knows Kirk Cousins better than the guy that was his coordinator in Washington. In Kyle Shanahan. I think they have to have a great game plan against him.
Okay. I would favor them in that game as well. Then they go on the road to Seattle.
That they have to win that game too. That game's going to be tough because I think Russ just has something different against
do you think they're going to win it? That's the thing.
Well, Russ is going to be, if we're going off of what we've seen and how awful the Seahawks looked against the Packers, I think it's an easy, I think the Niners can squeak out and control that game. But Russ is going to be healthier 3 to 4 weeks time down the road. Like that finger is going to be a lot better. I just think that team around him has so many more holes this year than in years past that I just feel like he can't fill those holes. Like this is a sinking ship and he just can't. There's too much water seeping through. And I think that the Niners can exploit that, especially if they continue to have this rushing dominance with complementing of Jimmy G, just complementing that rushing attack so well. I mean, this is a formula. They found a formula that can work for them.
Okay, so then they're on the road in Cincy.
I think that's an L.
Okay, so they're 3 of the 4. I
think they give themselves a little wiggle room to lose to either Seattle or Cincy, because I think both those teams don't really match up well against the Niners with how dynamic their wide receivers are and how depleted the Niners secondary is. Like both those teams can exploit the Niners secondary and that defense.
Okay, so they're going to split with the Seahawks and Bengals. So then they're at home against Atlanta. I have to assume that we'd pick them to beat Atlanta.
I actually don't. That Atlanta's not that good.
They're not that good.
I think the Niners are decisively better. I think Atlanta right now has a better record. Or they might actually be both 4 and 5. But I think the Niners, I can safely say, are a better team.
Okay, so then they're on the road in Tennessee.
Who knows what Tennessee is going to look like? I mean, they're definitely showing the effects of Derrick Henry not being there.
they're a different team for sure. I have to get all tangled.
But like Cincy, like Seattle, AJ Brown and Julio Jones. I mean, how do you guard those guys if you have the personnel that the Niners are throwing out? I think that game, is it in Tennessee?
It's in Tennessee.
Yeah, I think you gotta right now.
I think they lose that one. So then you're at home against the Texans. I think you win that game by 50 points. And then you have the Rams. Again, and then you have the Rams again.
Oh, that Rams game is going to be nuts. The Niners might get blown out of that game because there's no way that the Rams are going to get blown out twice against.
So at that point, you'd have them winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their next 8.
Yeah.
So you'd have them winning.
That'd make it
5 of their next 8, and then that would get them to
9-8.
9-8.
And then they would have a win over Minnesota and Atlanta.
So the other teams that you'd be fighting for. So you're really rooting for the Saints and Panthers to just fall off. Because those are the teams who you're going to be competing with. Because either the Rams or the Cardinals are going to get they could get both of the wild cards. Both of them, both wild cards could come out of the NFC West. And then you have a third one as well. So
yeah,
you could legitimately have 3 teams, but you're going to be looking at the Saints and Panthers.
Yeah.
And hell, even the Eagles maybe to fall off.
No, because the Niners have the tiebreaker over Philly, so they're ahead of Philly.
Okay, true. So then you're really rooting against the Saints and the Panthers.
And that's a good position to be in if you're San Francisco, because both those teams have questions at quarterback. We don't know what Cam Newton's going to look like this year. I mean, yeah, he looked good for 4 plays, and I believe he could be an upgrade over Sam Darnold even.
Yeah, he's certainly going to give that team a new juice.
I mean, he has an innate ability to put the ball in the end zone, kind of better than more different than anyone else in this league, and it's so hard to cover. Like, all he has to do is snap in the shotgun. He chooses either to go right or left, designed, and he's going to get in. I mean, he showed it on Sunday. Like, he is going to get in no matter what. Is that sustainable for a whole season? I don't know. And then New Orleans, I don't even know who started for New Orleans this last weekend.
I believe it was Simeon.
Was it Simeon still?
Yeah.
Do you trust Trevor Simeon to lead you to the playoffs?
He's been playing well. I mean, he was 19 for 34, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and it went right down to the wire with Tennessee. The Saints got absolutely screwed on a roughing the passer call during that game as well, which changed the whole aspect of that game, I think, because after that roughing the passer call, I think they punted and then Tennessee went down and scored. Simeon's been playing well. Don't get me wrong. And the Saints have a great defense, and they have weapons on offense.
I think their defense is better than the Niners right now.
Their defense is one of the best in the league, period.
Yeah, and Carolina's defense at times has played pretty well this year. But this is the weird thing. Is Jimmy Garoppolo not the best of those 3 quarterbacks? So wouldn't you take the best quarterback in that situation?
True. And as a matter of fact, I'm looking at the Saints' points allowed. In the NFC, they've given up the least amount of points out of any team in the NFC.
Even less than Green Bay. Green Bay second.
Green Bay has given up 180. The Saints have given up 178.
Oh, there you go.
So right about it. But yeah, I mean, the path for the Niners, I think it's there. I think it's legit. I mean, the Saints' remaining schedule, they have some tough games on their schedule. Good Lord. Okay, so they're in Philly, which is going to be a tough game now that the Eagles are playing well. They have the Bills and the Cowboys back-to-back. Then they have the Jets, which they should win. But then they have the Buccaneers, which will be a tough game. Then they finish with the Dolphins, Panthers, and Falcons. They could win 4 of their last 5 games because they have the Jets, the Dolphins, the Panthers, and Falcons. So you got to hope that they get waxed by the Bills, Cowboys, Eagles, and Bucks because I think they're going to be favored in all of the other games.
But they've already dropped a game to Atlanta, so that game's kind of a toss-up. Carolina,
Could be.
if they're playing well and they're still vying for a playoff spot, that game's going to be tight. Like these teams might knock each other out
They could.
of contention, and the Niners can just sleep because the Niners have already played both against they only have 2 more games in the division left because they've already played 4 already. So like they don't even have to worry about playing a tough NFC West to finish out.
Right. I mean, the path is clear. It's there. It is definitely there. They're going to need a little bit of help, but they can do it. I think they have a much better shot than the Raiders at this point.
I think that just boils down to the NFC is a lot less competitive than the AFC.
It's not as deep. Yeah.
The NFC, we can sit here and say, 9 wins probably gets you in. AFC, you might have to get 10 or 11.
Well, it's not only that, but even if you get 10 wins, I mean, you may not get in just because it's tiebreakers.
Yeah.
So it's really going to matter who you play. So
I really hope for your sake that the Raiders are at least close to contention with like a couple weeks left.
Yeah, as long as they stay competitive, that would be great. Because if they just peter off on these next 2 weeks, then it's going to be rough. I probably won't do the show. All right, so let's move to picks because we actually have an announcement to make. Ready? Sam won. Thank
you.
Holy crap! After like 4 weeks in a row of just getting dominated.
It was 4 weeks in a row.
I think it was 4 weeks in a row.
I was up 3-2. Was that? Yeah. I was up 3-1.
Yeah, you were. Blew it. Absolutely blew it. But he ended up winning this week. And you know what? He won by a good margin because the Lions and Steelers game ended up being a tie for us. So
we didn't even count that one.
No. So Sam ends up taking the win. And you know what? Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, so let's move
into the Cleveland game. The Cleveland game was a little scary, though.
Oh, that's true.
The fact that I got, because that was over quick. I was like, okay, well, I lost that game. I got to make it up somehow.
Right. All right, so let's do our picks. Here we go. We got the Thursday night game, Patriots at Falcons.
Good game. Sneaky good game with Super Bowl 52, I want to say. Rematch the 27-3 game, 28-3 game. Which is kind of cool. I mean, Patriots have to win this game.
Give me the Pats. All the way. Top 5 team
this game
in the
would
NFL.
Cement. I mean, this is a game. This team, if they're good, if they're top 5 team in the NFL, they have to beat a team like the Falcons.
Mm-hmm. And I see no reason why they're not going to. So give me the Patriots. Ravens on the road against Chicago.
Did you say Ravens?
Ravens.
Against Chicago? I'd like
in Chicago.
Yeah, I just don't think Chicago has enough firepower. I mean, Justin Fields has been playing a lot better. That offense is playing a lot better. But I think Baltimore rebounds. That Miami loss was a little inexplicable, especially with how – I mean, Lamar was kind of gearing up for an MVP case.
Yeah.
An MVP ride this year, and that game just totally slowed it down. That was a little pit stop for him, and hopefully he just gets back on the track.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I take the Ravens over the Bears. I'll take the Packers on the road against the Vikings.
Yeah, this game's interesting. I mean, Green Bay definitely should win, but Minnesota is in every single game. This game should be tight, but I'm really more curious to see how well Green Bay's defense plays, less so than how well Aaron Rodgers and that offense plays. Because I want to see Green Bay's defense keep backing these performances up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So all right. So we're both staying there. Bills are at home against the rolling Indianapolis Colts.
Bills Colts.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Taylor's coming to town.
But it's in Indianapolis?
It is. No, it's not in Indianapolis. It is in Buffalo.
Oh.
I'm going to take the Bills. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I'm going to take the Bills.
I'll take the Colts. I don't think you go with how well Jonathan Taylor's playing.
That dude is a machine.
I mean, Carson Wentz will throw 2 picks in this game.
For sure.
But I think, and one of them might be a pick 6. Who knows?
Could be. The Browns are at home against the Lions.
Sneaky tough game.
Detroit is not an easy out.
But is a Case Keenum led Cleveland team? Because I don't think Baker's starting. He got knocked out of that game.
I mean, Case Keenum won his other start.
That's what I'm saying. That was against Denver. Denver's better than Detroit.
I'll take Cleveland.
It looks like Baker's day to day.
I'll take Cleveland. I don't feel great about it, weirdly, but I'll take Cleveland.
It's in Cleveland, you said?
Yes.
If it was in Detroit, I would have felt a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about picking like prideful teams after getting embarrassed. I think Cleveland definitely wins.
Washington versus the Panthers. The Panthers are at home.
This is an even game.
I think so too.
I want to take Panthers in Cam reunion. I think that'll be the emotional boost.
I'll lean that way. If we have to flip, I'll pick Washington. If we have to flip, then I'll feel comfortable taking Washington. For me, this is a toss-up game.
Yeah, no, it is. It for sure is. These are 2 pretty even teams in my eyes.
So I'll take the Panthers right now as well. But if we have to flip, which I think we're going to, I'll take Washington. I think we're both going to take the Titans at home against the Texans. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Niners over the Jets. I mean, the Niners over the Jaguars. Yeah.
I hope so.
Okay. Then we have the Jets. We have the Jets at home against the Dolphins.
And is Zach Wilson starting or Big Mike?
I don't know. I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Wow, how crazy is that?
Not all that crazy, but
who is starting for the Jets?
I'm not sure. I really don't know. Let's see.
Because if Zach Wilson started, I might be tempted to go. I think
Tua is going to start. Tua is going to start, or is expected to start.
What a weird game. They started with Jacoby Brissett last week, and then Tua comes in, and they still find a way to beat a good Baltimore team.
Yeah, I'll do the Dolphins. We got to move along now.
Yeah, you're right. I'll do Dolphins.
Okay. Eagles at home against the Saints. I'm going to take the Eagles. Yeah, it's kind of a bold pick, I think, a little bit, especially because the Saints defense is good, and I know that the Saints are good. But I do sort of believe in Philly and how they've been playing recently. So I'll take Philly.
I'll do Saints. I'll do Philly. I mean, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I want to do Philly.
As much as I'm worried about this game,
2 teams that are pretty much in the same boat.
Yeah.
Have had really high highs, but as of late have not looked good.
No.
Whose bye do we think righted the no, Raiders aren't even coming off of a bye. I think Cincinnati wins just purely off of the fact that they're coming off of the bye. Is it in Cincy?
Nope.
It's in the Vegas.
Yep.
I'll take the Bengals.
All right. So then we got the Chiefs and the Cowboys.
Oof. That's a good game.
It is a good game. And it is in Arrowhead.
Because the Chiefs look so right after that Raiders game.
They did.
It almost makes me think that they're going to be too much to handle for Dallas.
I think Dallas is the overall better team right now, but
yeah.
But I think I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Really?
I don't feel great about it because the thing is I think Dallas's defense, I think it's pretty safe to say that they're better than the Chiefs defense, and they both have equally powerful offenses.
Yeah.
I think. So based on that, I think you lean towards the Cowboys, but I'm gonna give it to the Chiefs at home. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll go with the Chiefs.
It's just weird because I think we can both say that Dallas has been the better team this year for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But there's just in my head, I can't picture a Dallas win.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the Chief bias.
It could be.
I could potentially pick Dallas. This just seems like a game that Dallas would lose.
It says the Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah.
give me Dallas then.
All right.
That's tough. That's a tough game. Why did the Chiefs have to go and look so good?
I don't know. You're asking me?
Gosh darn it, Raiders.
So the Cardinals are on the road against the Seahawks.
Ooh. Kyler coming back, I think.
I think so. Give me the Red Sea.
Yeah, I think Cardinals definitely. Even
Chargers are at home against the Steelers
for Monday night.
Sunday night.
Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. And then the Buccaneers are at home against the Giants.
What a weird Monday night game. Give me Tampa.
Tampa. Right, so
Tom probably gets all his frustration out on the Giants anyway.
Different on 3 games.
Are we?
So you want to be different on 5?
How do we do that?
Well, I told you I would flip Washington, Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a game that you want to flip? If not, then we can just keep it the same.
I don't really want to pick Carolina.
Are you going to pick the Saints over the Eagles?
Oh, right. That's what I meant. Sorry. I don't really want to pick the Saints.
Okay, then let's just stay 3. Let's stay 3.
They might win.
They might win. I know.
Would their defense shut down Jalen Hurts?
Could.
They could limit him to under 10 points.
They could.
Give me the Saints.
Okay.
All so right. Let's go to 5. I like the 5 number.
I do too.
That gives me more of an advantage. That gives me a little more wiggle room.
And then I'll take Washington and you have the Panthers. All right, cool. So that'll be it for picks. We're going to introduce a new segment that we're going to do. It's just a regular old Would You Rather segment. I'll eventually make some grand graphic for it, but don't expect it for this show. For this episode at least. But we're going to do Would You Rather. Sometimes they're going to be about sports. Sometimes they're going to be about other stuff. Sometimes it'll be mixed. This one, because it's the first one, I just did all on sports. I'm going to do the questions this week. Sam will do it next week, and we'll just alternate, so it'll be more fun that way for both of us. So first question for you. Ready for this? Would you rather be a legendary coach or a legendary athlete?
This is kind of like if you're selfish or selfless, because the selfish answer is athlete, and then the selfless is to like, oh, I want to teach and allow others to prosper. The easy answer is athlete, for sure. I mean, no doubt in my mind, legendary athlete, and then you get to do like.
So you like top 10 athlete or top 10 coach?
Top 10 athlete of all time
in your sport.
Oh yeah. I mean, athletes are a bigger celebrity. I guess this is just showing my vanity. I want to be wealthier, more famous, just overall more successful.
It's funny because I want to teach. That's what I want to do. And I want to coach later on in life. So there's a part of me that I actually, like, I look at a coach like Pop and how much like respect he has and how much fun it must be to have all these interactions with these players and stuff. But yeah, there is that thing about being an athlete. That's just, I mean, because we played sports for our entire life. So I don't know. I am legitimately torn.
I would love to meet a person that says coach. Like what would make a person say coach?
Well, I don't even know which one I would pick right now.
Oh, I think you were clearly leaning towards athlete. We all know that.
I think I'm leaning towards that, but I don't. But for me, it's not as like quick of a decision.
I think it's so easy for me to say because we like 2 years removed from being an athlete.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's still you can still kind of identify with that. Like maybe when the day when you start coaching, it's like, oh, like I can't wait to be like, I want to be the best and the greatest type of like that drive type of thing. But that really hasn't hit.
Not yet. I've only got to coach a few times and it has been a lot of fun. A lot. I mean, I knew it was going to be fun, but it was it exceeded my expectations in that sense. But all right. So next question for you. So would you rather sit courtside at a regular season game or up in like the rafters for a playoff game?
Like any playoff, like first round.
Let's say it's the Kings.
Kings, it's got to be playoffs. Just so the Kings make the playoffs.
Okay, what about the 49ers? Oh, you know what? No, forget it. It's the I don't know. It's the Warriors versus the Lakers or something like that. Just teams that you don't have rooting interest for.
This is tough because I've never sat courtside.
I haven't.
And I've never been to a playoff game.
Nope.
And I'd love to do both. This is a tough question.
The closest we've gotten to courtside were those Kings tickets, right? Where we were like 6-7 rows back.
Less than that, like four rows back.
Yeah, something like that.
So that I was just thinking that kind of makes me lean to playoffs because you kind of get a sense of how big these guys are, and like kind of you're that close to the action. And you really, it's a totally different game.
Yeah.
Compared to when you're seeing from space.
Yeah.
I think I do playoffs just to be a part of that atmosphere. Like that is, you can't substitute that for literally anything.
I think I would have to go courtside. I think I'd have to go courtside because it's just, you're right. It is totally different. It is totally different when you're right there.
It must be so much faster when you're like on the court and these guys are just going up and down, up and down. You just see LeBron just skying.
And just because it's not a playoff game doesn't mean it's not going to be like an awesome atmosphere.
True, totally true. But it is just one of 82.
Right. I think I'd have to go courtside.
Oh,
I don't think I can pass it up.
Could you choose opening night or like Christmas Day? Like, can it be a special?
The question didn't specify that, but
because if it was opening night, I'd probably do courtside opening night.
Right, but that's almost like a playoff game.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. All right. All right, so here you go. Would you rather always lose in championship games or never make the playoffs?
What is always? Like,
so let's say you're like the Buffalo Bills who made it 4 times and never won. Or would you rather have never made the playoffs at all?
Gotta be the championship games.
I think so. Yeah, I agree. You have to be there.
I've witnessed in my life 2 San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl losses. And even that gives you a little bit of a glimmer of hope. And those teams are great. Like those teams, I'll always remember that Colin Kaepernick team and that Jimmy G team. Like I'll always remember those teams, and I know that they're one of the best teams in the NFL that year. But if your team constantly doesn't make the playoffs, that's a tough. We're a part of that, man. We know both sides of the coin a little. Maybe you don't know that side of the coin.
I don't know that side of the coin that much.
Well, I guess you were
The
a Spurs fan for a second, but
well, I liked the Spurs when they had Duncan and Parker and Kawhi for that long stretch. But it still wasn't the Kings. I mean, it would have been different.
I think I just want to. Yeah, I'd love to see a team just make the playoffs every single year.
Yeah,
and make the championship.
And then the last one for you. Would you rather have your own shoe named after you or your own award named after you?
Like the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yeah.
So
or like Sam 23s.
Flip side. What would the shoes be called? And what would the award be for? What would my award be given for?
I don't know.
So they would be like the ST62s or something. Probably.
Yeah.
My name does not work for a shoe.
I'm just saying, like, would you rather have your own shoe or your own award?
I could see the logo. It'd be a 2 and then a me. 2v2s.
Okay, 2v2s. I like it.
The Nike 2v2 zooms or whatever. What would my award be for? The Samuel Juby. I mean, Man of the Year is pretty obvious. I'm surprised you didn't even say that right away.
Right.
Most valuable player. It could be for that.
Let's say your shoes became as big as Jordan's, and your award
I don't
became,
think they would ever.
just for the question's sake, let's say your shoes became as big as Jordan's, and your award meant as much as the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Again, this is totally a selfish thing because I'm going to make a buttload of money if my shoes. I think I'd be definitely in the over halfway, like over 500 million. If my shoes are as big as Jordan, so I'd probably do that for sure. It does it really matter the name of the MVP award? Like no one really knows. It's just the MVP award.
I mean, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award is not the MVP award.
No, for sure it is. No, for sure.
And that award is a big deal to players.
What about so you know how the Stanley Cup is the championship of hockey? What if like the Super Bowl was the Sam Toomey Bowl?
Sam Toomey Bowl.
the Sam Toomey Invitational. That was the NCAA tournament. Instead of like March Madness, it was the Sam Toomey Invitational.
Yeah, there you go.
Every March.
Oh man, I don't know which one I would do.
I'd do the shoe. It'd be an awful shoe company. I'm telling you, my name does not work for the branding of that.
We already know mine does.
Facts.
There's already one out there.
You're so right.
Yeah.
But even like J. Russ, like that's a pretty good.
It's a good nickname.
It is a good nickname.
Yeah.
To me, that doesn't really serve for a nickname.
Because it sounds like you're like you'd say it in a sentence.
Pass it to me. These are the new pass it to me's.
The pass it to me, I'm open.
Quotation open. Quotation green light. Ooh, the green lights. The Toomey green lights. Oh, they're like fluorescent green, like Oregon bright green. Oh, no one would buy those.
Well, see, this is what I wanted out of the segment. I wanted it to be a fun segment to kind of close the show and to have and you know what, for all of you who are watching, I mean, leave comments for which ones you'd rather have.
Please. I'd love to know the coach and player, if there's any coaches out there, because I think that is a landslide player. Just based off of our audience's age, I think we skew a little younger. We read through the questions again.
So it was let me pull it out of the trash.
Out the trash. Those questions were so bad. The segment in its inaugural.
Well, I made it really like a big, like, emphatic during the show, so whatever. But it was the coach and athlete one. It was the regular season courtside or the playoff Rafters.
That's a good one.
Lose in the championship always or never make the playoffs, and then the shoe or the award.
Yeah, comment your answers for all of those. I'd love to know the courtside at the regular season or Rafters in the playoff. That's a tough question. I'd love all of them. All of them are, you can make cases for all of them, and make your cases down below. Absolutely. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button, because we don't have a lot of subscribers for how many views we are getting on some of them. And hit the like button, even if this show was stunk, which we know it didn't. Don't even lie, because this was a good show. So hit that like button for us.
Just let everybody know.
And comment
we're building something here.
Comment your favorite thing about Jason Russell.
Here's the thing. How are we any different than the Manning cast? Let's be honest.
we don't have Al Michaels as a guest. We don't have Phil Mickelson.
But like, seriously, it's totally laid back. It's casual.
We're not Super Bowl champs and MVPs. We're not professional.
But we're good guys. We're Walter Payton Man of the Year and Sam Toomey of the Year award winners.
Sam Toomey Man of the Year award is a
that's what I'm talking about. So,
I think.
All right. Well, for all of you, by the way, if you're Marvel fans, make sure you check out the Spider-Man trailer, because it's dropping. We filmed this on Tuesday, so it's coming out in 45 minutes. So by the time this comes out, it'll be Thursday. I hope you enjoy the trailer as much as I'm going to.
By the time this video comes out, Jason will have watched that Spider-Man trailer 45 times.
Here's the thing. I got a question for you. What are the odds that we actually get confirmation whether or not Toby and Andrew are in the movie? What do you think? You think they give it away?
Yeah, I think they give it away in the previews before. I hate how they do that.
Here's the thing for me. Like, I've said this from the beginning. If they're not in the movie, then no matter how good the movie is, people are always going to look back at this and go, "You guys missed an opportunity. Like, this would have been awesome to have."
What if they don't want to be in the movie?
See, here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they're not in the movie, for how big and how like heavily speculated that they are in the movie, if it doesn't turn out that they are, the movie can still be fantastic. But there's always going to be like, man, that's a little bit of a disappointment that they weren't in the movie. So for me, I'm like, I don't want to think that they're in the movie, but there's too much evidence to think that they should be in it, you know? So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if they're going to give it away in the trailer. I mean, the movie's going to come out next month, so they just have to have people wait a month longer. I actually think it'd be great if they didn't release another trailer. Just let everybody keep.
It's not like people aren't going to go see this.
Exactly. Like, after the first trailer, everybody was sold.
I mean, everyone loves Spider-Man, especially Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Right. So I almost think they don't need to release another trailer, and I think it'd be cool if they just didn't.
Yeah, I hope they don't give. Like, could you imagine if in Endgame, the trailer before Endgame, you see like Captain America picking up Mjolnir?
Yeah.
Could you imagine that part being ruined in a preview? Like, I think there's countless previews that like ruin a big time surprise just to sell the movie, it sucks.
Well, the biggest one that I can think of recently is, remember in the Civil War trailer at the very end when Spider-Man first showed up in the MCU?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole Underoos thing. Hey everyone.
But that sells. It's a tough juggle.
Marketing.
It's
marketing.
Because if you show, say, a Spider-Man, if you show Toby and Andrew, which this is a little different because this is the third installment of a franchise. So your fans are going to go see this regardless. Like, you're not going to get new people. They're like, oh, let's go see the Spider-Man movie. Like, they're going to go see it no matter what because they're invested after watching the first two movies. But, like, if you want to put butts in seats, you give them something.
Yeah, you show them. Yeah.
That they would want to go see. It just sucks that hopefully it's not the only thing that movie has to offer, which some movies, the previews give away everything.
Yeah. There was a picture that got released like a week ago that has been said that it's been confirmed that it wasn't Photoshop and it was of the three of them in their suits.
No way.
But I don't know. It's just tough. Like, I don't really want to believe it, but it's a picture of Tom, Andrew, and Toby. And Tom's got the same suit. He's got the same cut marks that he's had in all of the trailers. There's no difference in his suit or anything like that. And then to add fuel to everything, Toby's got a haircut, and then he was spotted a week later with that identical haircut.
Really?
So it was like, so people think that it's an actual picture from set, but I don't know. I feel like computers can really make it look super convincing, but it was said to be confirmed, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll find out in 40 minutes.
Okay, so this is just weird because Andrew Garfield is like continued to say that he's not in the movie. Tom Holland has continued to say, like, is this the number one thing, the biggest question leading up for this movie?
Oh yeah, it's not even anything about the movie other than whether or not they're in it or not.
Kind of takes away.
Here's the thing too, and this will be, I guess, the last thing that we can end this on is if they are in the movie, how much of it are they going to be in it? You know, like, is it going to be about the three of them, or is it going to be about Tom? You know,
isn't Jamie Foxx in this movie?
Yeah, they have villains from all three franchises.
Oh yeah, they have Willem Dafoe.
They have Well, if you look at the new No Way Home trailer, Green Goblin is flying in the back of the trailer. So you have the Green Goblin, you have Doc Ock, you have Sandman, so you have all three villains, and then you have Electro, and then you have the Lizard.
Oh, you have the Lizard.
The Lizard's in there too, yeah. And then I think Rhino is going to show up. So they're putting together the Sinister Six, but yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be a wild movie. The first trailer set off records for like most viewed trailers. If this second one has Andrew and Toby, I think it'll smash the first trailer.
Yeah, probably.
I guess we'll find out. So I'll probably be talking to you in an hour.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we'll be talking.
Oh yeah, for sure. And all right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching episode 110 of Nothing to Say to the Fans podcast. We really appreciate it. We hope you all have a fantastic week. Enjoy the football. I hope your teams win, unless your team is the Bengals. I hope they lose. And then just have a good freaking week.
Yeah, be safe, everyone. We'll see you guys next week.
Oh, and this episode is actually coming out on my birthday, so happy birthday to me. I forgot to mention.
Happy 23rd birthday. In the comments, say happy birthday to Jason. Go blow up his Insta. Again, say a nice thing about Jason in the comments. I said that without even realizing that this was going to come out on his birthday. Just one nice thing about Jason. How he's just such a kind and compassionate person.
All right. Enjoy your week, everybody.